It's 2 a.m. The house is quiet. Everyone's asleep, and you're lying there, staring at the ceiling. Your body is exhausted. You can feel it. But your brain? Your brain just started its second shift. That thing you said 3 years ago? That conversation you need to have tomorrow. You're already rehearsing every version of it. That decision you made last week, was it the right one? What if it wasn't? You close your eyes, more thoughts come. You open them again. Ceiling. This isn't insomnia. You can fall asleep just fine when your mind lets you. The problem is, your mind never gets the memo. And tonight, you're going to find out exactly why. But where does this come from? For most overthinkers, it didn't start in adulthood. It started much earlier. Picture a child who grew up in a house where things could change without warning, where the mood in the room shifted before anyone said a word. That child learned to read everything: the tone of a voice, the sound of footsteps down the hallway, the way a door closed, soft or hard, told them everything they needed to know. That child's brain became a threat detection machine, always scanning, always preparing, always one step ahead, just in case. And at night, when everything went quiet, that's when the scanning worked best. No distractions, just silence, and a brain doing what it was trained to do. That child was you, and the habit never left. Here's what your day actually looks like, even after it's over. You finish work, you come home, you eat, you scroll, maybe you watch something. On the outside, it looks like you've switched off, but you haven't. Somewhere in the background, your brain is still running, still processing that comment your coworker made, still replaying that moment you wish had gone differently, still holding on to 3 things you forgot to do and 1 conversation you're dreading. During the day, you manage it. There's noise, movement, always something pulling your attention forward. But at night, the noise stops. Everything your brain was holding all day, it all surfaces at once. The ceiling becomes your thinking room, and the thinking doesn't stop until your body finally forces you under. But here's what nobody tells you. Everyone calls it a problem, a flaw, something to fix. But here's what's actually happening. Your brain isn't broken. It's doing exactly what it was designed to do, just at the wrong time, with no off switch. You're not someone who thinks too much. You're someone whose brain never learned it was safe to stop thinking. When you grew up in an environment that required you to stay alert, emotionally or socially, your brain built a system, one that says keep scanning, keep preparing, because the moment you stop, something might go wrong. That system protected you once, maybe for years. The problem isn't that you have it, it's that it never got the update. It still runs like it's protecting you from something that no longer exists. You're not an overthinker. You're someone whose nervous system never got permission to rest. And this is where it gets deeper. Think about everything you felt today, but didn't say. That moment your boss dismissed your idea and you smiled anyway. That text you felt something about but replied to normally. That small thing that bothered you pushed down because there were bigger things to deal with. You did that all day. You took every uncomfortable feeling and quietly put it on a shelf because you had to keep moving, because showing it felt like too much. Those feelings didn't disappear. They waited. At night, when everything goes quiet, your brain finally processes what it's been carrying all day. Psychologists call this emotional residue, unfinished feelings that carry forward until they get space to breathe. Your 2 a.m. thoughts aren't random. They're the receipt for everything you felt and didn't deal with since morning. Most people never see this part. Have you noticed what you actually think about at night? Think about the last week. Is it 100 different worries or the same 2 or 3 things cycling back? Chances are it's the same ones. One relationship that feels unresolved, one future scenario you're trying to control before it happens. Your brain isn't spiraling randomly. It's looping on purpose, because it's flagged these things as unfinished, unsafe to let go of, and until something changes, it keeps bringing them back. Psychologists call this intrusive looping, Your brain returning to unresolved material, not to torture you, but to try to close the loop. The problem is, you can't close it at 2 a.m. The people aren't there, the decisions can't be made right now. But your brain doesn't know that. It just keeps trying. Stay with me, this next part changes everything. Notice something about people who overthink most at night. During the day, they're fine, productive even. They get things done, they show up, they handle it. But the moment the day ends and stillness comes, everything hits at once. That's not a coincidence. A lot of overthinkers unconsciously use busyness as a buffer. Keep moving, keep the noise going, and the difficult thoughts stay manageable, distant enough to function around. The gym, the scrolling, the late-night work, some of it is enjoyment, but some of it is strategy, a way to stay one step ahead of the quiet. And then the quiet comes anyway. Screen off, nothing between you and everything your brain has been holding. You weren't avoiding laziness during the day. You were avoiding this moment, that same ceiling, that same silence. And this changes everything. This isn't just happening in your head. When your brain decides it's threat time, your body gets the message. Chest tightens, jaw holds tension you didn't notice putting there. Legs feel restless. Heart runs slightly faster than it should for someone lying still in a dark room. You're physically calm, but you're not calm.
Your brain and body have a two-way conversation. Thoughts signal danger, body responds like danger is real. Body responds, brain reads that and thinks, see, something is wrong, keep going. Thought triggers body, body confirms thought. Loop continues. Psychologists call this hyperarousal, your nervous system locked in high alert with nothing to be alert about. That tired but wired feeling you know so well, your body is genuinely activated. It's not weakness, it's a system that never learned how to downshift. Here's where it gets personal. Here's what nobody says out loud. People who overthink at night are often the most emotionally aware people in the room, the most empathetic, the ones who notice what others miss, who feel things deeply, who care, sometimes more than is comfortable. The same sensitivity keeping you up is the same thing that makes you genuinely good at understanding people, at reading a room, at knowing something's off before anyone says a word. You didn't get the overthinking without also getting that. But here's something worth sitting with honestly. The nighttime spiral can be two things. For some, it's processing, finding clarity in the quiet. For others, it's a prison. Same loop, same pain, no exit. Only you know which one is yours. Nothing is wrong with you. You were never broken. You were just a person who felt everything deeply in a world that never slowed down enough to give you space for it. But wait, there's something else. You've had them. Nights where sleep just came. No spiral, no loop, no ceiling staring. Think about what was different that day. Maybe you said what you actually felt instead of swallowing it. Maybe you wrote something down just to get it out. Maybe something that had been unresolved for weeks finally got a response, a decision, a moment of closure. Something your brain had been holding got to let go. And that night, the cue was shorter. The quiet felt different, safe instead of loud. That wasn't luck. That was information. Your brain doesn't need you to solve everything before sleep. It just needs to know the important things were felt, not buried, heard, not shelved until 2 a.m. The nights that feel lighter aren't random. They follow the days when you gave your emotions somewhere to go before the silence came. The real reason goes even further. So what actually helps? The first, name it during the day. Once, just once, ask yourself what you're actually feeling, not what happened, what you felt about it. Angry, embarrassed, anxious, hurt. Name it. That alone reduces what shows up at night. The second, brain dump before bed. Everything in your head, write it down. Not to solve it, just to prove to your brain it won't be forgotten. When your brain trusts the thought is recorded somewhere, it loosens its grip. The third, give yourself a closing time. Pick a time, even 9 p.m., and tell yourself, decisions after this can wait until morning. You're not ignoring them, you're filing them for when your brain can actually do something useful with them. Permission, not pressure. That's all your brain has ever needed. You came here lying in the dark, exhausted, frustrated, staring at that ceiling, wondering why your brain refuses to give you a single night of peace. You leave knowing this. It was never about being broken. It was about a brain that learned very early, very deeply, that staying alert was the same as staying safe, and it never got told that the danger passed. That ceiling you've stared at 100 nights, it's not a sign of something wrong with you. It's a sign of a mind that has always cared about people, about outcomes, about getting things right. That brain deserves rest, not because it's weak, because it has worked hard enough for long enough without ever being told it was allowed to stop. You're allowed to stop now, not forever, just tonight. If the 2 a.m. ceiling thing hit close to home, drop a moon in the comments. I want to see how many of us are in this together. And tell me, is your loop more about the past or the future? There's one more thing connected to this: why overthinkers also struggle to ask for help even from people they trust completely.